and loved ones who you think need this class, you yourself can go over the videos again on YouTube. Um, and do also know that if you are joining us on Zoom Live, I want you to have your videos on. It's one of our rules that you should have your videos on, and I do expect that we should have an orderly house arranged and a set of people that are obedient. Yes, thank you very much for joining us today. It's a speaking class and I'm excited. I'm excited because we are going to be doing some practices today. We're going to be doing some practices today. Some of us are going to, like have the opportunity to speak. It's going to be on, we're going to be selecting people actually. I'm going to be selecting people, so that we can move. Let's see how you're doing with what you're learning. Let it not just be that I come and I talk and go away. We want to see that you rehearse as much as possible, especially with the speaking, so that we are confident that you are okay before we go ahead to do your registration. That way, we will be able to access you, all right, before your main exams and make corrections here and there. And it's all towards our effort of helping you to pass your exams once. Many people are asking questions about IELTS. Many health workers, despite knowing that they need to write IELTS before coming to the UK, some of us don't even know what type of IELTS we're supposed to write. I had a student who had registered for the general test when she's planning to come to the UK, and then she had to like call to make those changes. You can save yourself all of that inconveniences if you do ask questions before you go ahead to write, to register for your exams, to book your test. The IELTS there are two types of IELTS, and there's the general test and the academic test. Presently, I am teaching the academic test, and this is because I'm helping people to pass in the processes to the United Kingdom. And then for people who will be needing the academic test to study anywhere else where it is required, I am not into Canada immigration, neither am I into helping people to go to the US. Whatever country you're going to, if their requirement is academic IELTS, that way you will be my candidate. So please find out the kind of exams that are expected to write so you don't waste your time attending lectures or buying materials online or downloading stuffs that you don't need. So if you're here and your aim is for the UK relocation, then you're welcome to the class because IELTS academic is what you need. IELTS academic, what exactly do people need in IELTS academic? IELTS academic is divided into four. We have the writing, the reading, listening, and speaking. You are expected to have an overall band of 7.0 at least, overall 7.0, and this includes your speaking 7.0 at least, reading 7.0, that's the band, and then listening 7.0. The NMC has been kind enough and they have reduced writing to 6.5, which means that if you get a band 6.5 in your writing test, you will still be able to make it to the UK if you've been able to make 7 or above 7 in the other parts of the test. So yes, you're welcome to the class once again. Just joining us, you're welcome. My name is Joy Agagwu. I'm a registered nurse, registered midwife in Nigeria. I've been able to relocate to the United Kingdom last year. It's been over a year since I came to the UK, and I came in here. I was able to write my OSCE exams, and I am now a registered nurse in the United Kingdom. I'm processing to be a registered midwife in the UK as well. So I've decided to go ahead to see how I can contribute, how I can help people to pass IELTS, because I discovered that in the process of relocation, IELTS happened to be the hardest, the toughest for many people. The English test generally. Some people write the OET exams. I really don't know much about OET. I've not ventured into OET. So you can see if your aim is for OET, you are not supposed to be in this class, because OET's pattern and everything is different, even though it is the same English. OET is more expensive, all right? And some people say OET is easier. I don't know anything about OET. So when you come into my inbox and you're asking me questions like comparing OET and IELTS, I really can't compare the two of them because I know nothing about the other side. It would be unfair on my side if I just conclude on the side that OET is expensive and tell you to go for IELTS when actually you want to go for OET. So you can do your research, make your findings, go all out, decide what exactly you want to do. And if at the end of the day you have decided or you have made up your mind that you're going for IELTS and you're coming for IELTS academic and your aim is to relocate to the United Kingdom and the Ireland, welcome to my class, because I'm your girl for the classes. Thank you very much. Yes, welcome. Stephen, you're welcome. Ebere, good afternoon. Linda, I see your handiwork. Well done. Ehi, welcome to the class. Chinenye, Jumoke, wow. Maureen, good morning to you. Some of us are just waking up, some of us are just waking up. So it's morning to us. Anytime you wake up, it's your morning. Yes, Jelula, I don't think I've seen this name in this class before. You're welcome to the class, sir. Cynthia, Samuel Nebuachinenye, you are welcome to the class. I'm kind of excited today because I'm going to get to hear some of you speak, like those that didn't have the opportunity to speak in the last class, or those that village people did not allow to speak with their networks. Today we bind every village people that will not allow your network to work so that you can speak today in Jesus' name. Yes, village people, you are bounded, you are tied, you are casted in Jesus' name. Yes, so part of the requirement for the class is that you should ensure that you have a good network, because if you don't have a good network, the truth is the aim is defeated, it's useless, because it's going to be like there's going to be like a bandwidth where your network and whatever fluctuations and all of that will not make you to benefit maximally from this class. Please, if you are joining us for the visual class on Zoom, have your video on. If you don't have your video on, I am going to take you out of the class. Yes, I'm decided to take you out of the class. Go and join the YouTube. The YouTube people are also enjoying now because they get to send in their questions. I've devised a new means of checking on them. I use my phone and then I'm able to see what questions they are asking, and at least so that we can carry them along, they are part of the class. We actually have more viewers on YouTube than we have in the Zoom classes. That's just the truth. Sometimes you go on there and you're seeing many people 40 watching. You finish our class and in the next 1-2 hours you're seeing 200 views already. I'm like, but I've not even had like 50 people consistently in the class. So what's happening? YouTube viewers, you are welcome to the class. So welcome. Let's ring the bell for them. Yeah, drop your questions and I'll see how we can attend to them. So it's a speaking class today and I am happy. Are you happy to be in the class? What's making me excessively happy, sir? Don't even know. I hope people are praying for Nigeria, praying for Africa generally. The truth is, whether you're a Muslim, you're a Christian, you're a pagan, you're a free thinker, I know you need good things. We're all agitating for good government. It's not just about ending SARS or ending anything. It's about good government. It's about God helping us to intervene in the affairs of the country. I was telling somebody yesterday, this morning while I was on duty with her, I was opportune to work with three Nigerians today, and I was so happy because we got to speak pidgin English, when we enter our small corner. We spoke pidgin English enough and we felt like we were home. and we were talking and praying for Nigeria. I pray for Nigeria. We're praying for Nigeria, and I did mention to her that if I was getting a certain amount of money while I was working in Nigeria, I won't come to the UK. I won't relocate because I love home. I love my country. I love my village especially. That's the truth. If you give me a job and you pay me good money to go and stay in my village, I tell you the truth, I will leave where I am and go back. I love my village. I love the serenity of the country Nigeria. I love the people, the joy in the faces of these people on the street. So we need to pray for God to intervene in Nigeria so that things can work. When things are working, we won't be running away. There will be no killings. There will be no, all of these things that is making us to agitate, they won't all be there. So, and you know that if things are not working fine, you are also going to have issues with your processes, okay, with your procedures, because okay, if things get worse, visa centers will close. If things get worse, IELTS centers will close. You won't be able to write your exams, isn't it? The British people will close their centers and withdraw their people. They don't want them to be hurt, even though they are Nigerians and working for them. So we need to pray. These things affect us in one way or the other. Okay, whoever you're supporting, that's not the thing. Whoever you are as a citizen of a particular place, your desire should be for good governance and for good things. So if we are praying for good governance, please join us to pray for good governance for the country, because you will directly or indirectly benefit from it. For some of us, as we are processing and coming over, if the country is not good and you have crossed, maybe your children are still back home, you will have hypertension wherever you are. If you have crossed and your spouse is still back home, your parents are back home, and you're not even sure whether the next call you are going to get is that they are killing them or they are running for their lives, you won't be settled wherever you are. So please pray for Nigeria. Please pray for Africa generally, that God should save Africa, God should help Africa. That way, me and you can be anywhere we are, and you are able to send money home to invest. You are able to build houses or do anything you want to do at home, and you are able to go on a holiday. You know, you want to see your people when you are in the UK, maybe your immediate family is with you here, but you have extended family members you want to go and visit. So if you are thinking that after all I am processing to go to the UK, if they like, let them split. If they like, let them kill themselves. It will affect you one way or the other, because visa centers will be closed and you won't get visa. So please pray for Nigeria. Thank you very much. Before I go on, Maureen Chinenye Oyi, you see what I'm saying about network, but some people have started going out of the class already. If you join this class, please have your video on. There's an instruction where you are coming from, where you did the registration for this class. Have your videos on, please, so we are not distracted. It distracts me and you won't get maximum benefit from what I am teaching. Please. Jumoke, Olajumoke, Cynthia, Ehi, and where is the other person? And Linda. You happen to be the lucky 5 that will be speaking today. You will be speaking after this class. So we'll be accessing you. The whole class will be accessing you today. If you are joining us on this class for the first time, we have a pattern. We teach, we interact as well, because that is the only way I can know whether you're understanding what I am doing. IELTS is not about me coming to read for you. Maybe I go and look for somebody's manual and then I read it for you, and at the end of the day I say, oh yeah, you're ready, go and write your exam. And you write several times. I was opportune or privileged to write my exams once, and I love when people write their exams once, because it's not showing that you are a guru. It's showing that you did work. You did work, as in work, hard work. Work is an action word. It did that you did work, because if you did not work, you won't be able to pass. It shows that you attended classes, online materials, maybe you listened to people and then you had to practice. So I like when people pass once. I got a bit of good news. In the course of the week, 2 of my students, online students, but not in this class, actually passed their IELTS exams. And I'm excited for one of them because it was her 4th attempt. after 4 times. It was her fifth attempt, yes. So she had written 4 times, she had given up, and then somehow, I don't know how it happened. I think on African Ghetto Dreams or somewhere, we became friends, and then she started following the classes on YouTube. Because of work schedule, she started following the classes on YouTube. And about 4 days ago, she sent me a chat. She said, "Hey sis, I've passed my IELTS after 4 attempts." And I'm like, woo! I couldn't hold myself. I stopped what I was doing. I called her. I hardly call people. Sorry, especially back home. I called her immediately. I said, "See, I don't keep good news to myself. I'm excited." And I was really, really happy for her. Not because I taught her, but because I know that in the next 6 months, 7 months, all things being equal, before you know it, she's in the UK. Because the normal process from when it was hard with the NMCN, our nursing council in Nigeria was making things difficult at some point where verification was taking 2 months, 3 months. But now verification takes a couple of days, weeks. I heard someone whose verification was done in 9 days. So yes, in 9 days. Mine was done in about 3 weeks, even when it was difficult. See, you can break record for things. So you can break record for things. I prayed, I involved my children, I involved everybody that I knew. We were fighting a battle against NMCN because they needed to send our documents. So God helped us in my time, so God can help you. And now the process is made easier. Enough of not just talk. Let's go back to work. So today we will be talking about IELTS speaking. The speaking test will assess your use of spoken English. The test will last between 11 and 14 minutes, where you will discuss a variety of topics and variety of topics with an examiner. All right, so your test will take place in a very quiet room with an examiner that will keep encouraging you to speak up. You are talking, they're asking you, "Oh, okay, go on," or they just keep quiet to let you speak, depending on who your examiner is. And just to let you know that the IELTS speaking test is recorded, all right? It's recorded for quality and training purposes. It is recorded so that if there's any issue, they can make references, okay? Researches as well, for the purpose of research, and then for the purpose of remark. So people have, maybe they are missing just one point and they need to remark their exams. They just make reference to that video. Whose audio is on in this class that is distracting us? Please put your audios off. Make sure your microphone is crossed until you're asked to undo it. Yes, Austin, I was going to send you a message when I didn't see you earlier on. It's a speaking class and I know that you need it. Thank God you have joined us. You are welcome to the class. I thought you would have the opportunity to speak today. Let's see how it goes. You may speak. I'm not so sure. John please have your video or your audio off. Don't put it on again, please, so we won't be distracted with the background noise. Thank you. All right, so I was saying about the IELTS test. I was giving us a background of what the IELTS test does. The IELTS speaking test, you are still going to have your band descriptors, okay, for every other one like we had for the writing test. And you will be expected to finish up your task, okay, for task accomplishment and response. You are supposed to finish up your task. You can finish your task in less than 11 minutes, but they will wait for that period, for that time between 11 and 14 minutes before you bring it to an end, so that you have had the opportunity to tackle every aspect of your questions. All right, the task is divided into 3 parts. We have the part 1, the part 2, and then the part 3. In your part 1, you are expected to finish answering all the questions you'll be asked. Same thing with part 2 and part 3, because that's part of your task achievement, task completion. Okay, and then for your lexical resource, they're expecting you to use words that are not very, very common, use synonyms, all right, to express yourself. Coherence and cohesion, of course, the examiner is going to be guiding you to make sure that your work is in a sequential order, and then it's your responsibility to present your ideas in a logical manner, all right. Also, for your grammatical range and accuracy, of course, you need to speak good English. You need to speak good English. So yeah, the 4 band descriptors are all here in the IELTS speaking test. In part 1, it is expected to last between 4 to 5 minutes. And here you start with the examiner asking you to, state your name and then to show your identification. So it is the introduction and identification as well. Next, you'll be asked questions that are general questions. We'll be seeing samples, all right? We'll talk about them in the course of this class today by God's grace. You'll be seeing, they will ask you a couple of questions that are general. So you don't need to have any specific knowledge about anything. It's just about you, about what you do, about, general topics, all right, around you. Then you will be asked some questions about a range of familiar topics, maybe like cooking, the weather, or movies you prefer, places you go to, and all of that. The examiner will ask you some scripted questions, scripted because they are written. It's not from her brain that she's asking you those questions. No, they are written out for you. And then he or she will listen to your answer, prompting you to extend your responses with maybe like a why or like a why not. So if your answer is, if maybe you have a very short answer, okay, do you love to go to the movies? Yes. Why or why not? You need to state it. That way, you would have expressed yourself more, because they are looking at your fluency, they are looking at your expression of self, how free you are, how you can think up answers and all of that in your IELTS part 1. This part of the test is where it follows like a question answer format, focusing more on your ability to communicate opinions and information to like everyday topics, by answering a range of questions. Then we go to the part 2, where we have the individual long run. This period lasts for 3 to 4 minutes. After the part 1, your examiner will give you a topic and will ask you to talk about it for like 2 minutes. The topic will be handed over to you on a card, and you will also be given a piece of paper and pencil for you to make notes. On your card, you will see the speaking prompt and some, points that you can cover in your talk relating to them. Please, don't be like some people who were given that card but never had a look at the card. They never looked at the card like this to see, oh, okay, he gave me a card, but what's on this card? They just saw the card and dumped it and were talking from their brain. At the end of the day, if you are not careful, you may not be able to get the band that you desire or that you require. Okay, there's a difference between you desiring a band and you requiring a band. You desire to have a band 9, but you are required to have a band 7.0. That's the minimum that you have to have in your speaking test. But you may desire to have a band 9. So if you don't answer all of your questions, you may not get the band 9 that you desire. But if you answer to some extent, you may get the band that you require. So it depends. Wow, that's English language. All right. So you will have exactly 1 minute to prepare and to make notes before you speak. Your examiner will be using a timer. You will hear them click on something, and when it's time for you to stop, it will click for them. That way, the exam is rightly, timed, and then everything is correctly stipulated for you. So, part 2 of the question, or part 2 of your speaking, assesses your ability to speak at length and on a particular topic using appropriate language and organizing your ideas, like I said, in a logical manner. You can use your own experience on the topic to help you like complete the long run, because sometimes you have finished talking about what's on your card and then you've still got some time. Then you can now bring in your own, like your experience, and like give an example or cite an instance or something. The third part of your speaking test is what we call the two-way discussion. Two-way discussion lasts for 4 to 5 minutes. And the question in part 3 will be connected to your question in part 2, to the general topic that you have spoken about in part 2. You will discuss the topic in a more general and an abstract way, showing the examiner that you are able to express and justify your opinions, you are able to analyze things, you are able to discuss and speculate on the topic in a deeper manner, in a deeper way, all right, or with more depth. So in your long run, if it was about maybe a beautiful place that you have visited, for example, this section, part 3, might begin by asking you about a beautiful place or beautiful places, and questions will be like, do you think it's important to maintain beautiful places in cities? Okay, do you think it's good or is essential to keep beautiful places in view? When you have this kind of questions, they are drawing you into a dialogue with them. So your two-way discussion is like a dialogue between you and the examiner, where you like exchange words. If you watch football analysis, you see the guys that do the analysis before, during, and after the game is ongoing. They're like, draw a topic, and they're like, do you think these people are going to pass? And everybody is throwing their opinion. That's speaking part 3. So if you're a football lover, if you watch, in the course of your watching football, you can also learn. All right. You see how everybody bring in their idea and their speculations, their thinkings, their opinions, how they analyze what has happened. Like maybe in the first half now, for example, there's an analysis, they are ongoing and with advertisement and they're like, wow, those boys have really played well. But I think that this is this, and they're analyzing what is happening. So they are like, let's say the game is their part 2 that they have watched and have talked about. Now the part 3 is the dialogue, where 3 or 4 of them that are seated on that table are having a discussion. So one person is like anchoring it, like your examiner will be anchoring it, and then asking questions, and you are expected to make contributions. You are expected to like analyze that question. You are expected to, in every form of thing, speculate, give an opinion about something that is connected to your question in part 2. So part 3 accesses your ability to express and justify opinions. It accesses your ability to analyze, to discuss and speculate about a range of issues, a range of topics that are connected to the general topic that you have spoken about in your part 1. That is that about the parts of the IELTS reading speaking test. The part of the IELTS speaking test. So having known that, how are we going to answer these questions? What kind of topics are we expected? What are our tips? These and many more we will be talking about today. Okay? So here, I'd like to give you a few tips just for you to be up to date with what is happening. Adesua Omodusi, you're coming to the class, please have your video on. It's part of our criteria. If not, if you are for any reason not able to have your video on, just join the YouTube class. All right, we're streaming live. Join the YouTube class. Yeah, you will still get to ask your questions, and I'll respond in due course. Part of the requirement is for you to have your video on when you come to this class. Please have your video on, or we'll take you out of the class. Adesua, have your video on, please. All right, so what do we do? Having practiced, having gone through question topics in IELTS, and what are the questions that will be coming to your mind? Maybe you'll be thinking of, let me see, they have said that this is the pattern that we should answer this question. How are we going? Am I going to, okay, let me cram the answers. Don't cram answer. So one of the tips is that you should not memorize answers. Don't memorize answers. Okay? You might be nervous about taking your IELTS test, yes, but certain things, certain knowledge will help you to relax. So we are going to be talking about them. All right? Don't memorize answers. Don't memorize answers. Oh, yeah. Disturbing our class. Better. Okay. So please do not memorize answers, especially in your part one, where you're talking about family, village, your environment, hometown, your work life, and your personal interest. Okay, talking about yourself. Be expressive. Okay, be open, so that because you don't know the dimension in which the questions will come. So if you memorize your answers, if they don't ask you that aspect, you are going to lose balance, and at the end you become agitated, and before you know it, you are failing your speaking test. Because when we memorize a particular language or a particular answer as well, it keeps us restricted. So please don't memorize your answers. All right, the examiner will be able to tell if you have memorized your answers, and this may influence your final band at the end, and it may reduce your score. Another thing is, please don't use big and unfamiliar words that are not connected. Like in our writing test, I was telling us that in the course of you trying to get synonyms to impress your examiner, please don't use words that are not related. All right, they are synonymous, but in that condition or in that situation, in that context, it is not applicable. You need to avoid those kind of words. You may want to impress the examiner with big and complex words in your speaking test, but to be safe, avoid using words that you are not familiar with. If you are not familiar with it, it's fine. If it's a synonym and you're familiar with it and you can explain, you can talk in that realm, fine, good and fine, it's fantastic, go ahead. But please don't use unfamiliar words, big grammar. No, it's not for IELTS speaking test. There's a higher chance of making mistakes by either you mispronounce, by either mispronouncing those words or using them in the wrong context, and mistakes can affect your final band score. So please use a range of vocabulary that you know, which is relevant, okay, to the topic of discussion. You understand? So what we will do to this end is to have these topics of discussion so that you can have a range of vocabularies that are very, very connected and important and relevant to it. Your tip number 3 is that you should use a range of grammatical structures. When IELTS examiners assess your speaking test, okay, they mark you against, like fluency, coherence, cohesion, grammatical range and accuracy. Very, very, very important. Your pronunciation. Lexical resource. Lexical, I've told us already. Okay, I've told us already that they are making use of the band descriptors. So they are trying to like rate you, band you, give you scores based on how you impress them using the band descriptors. Try and use a range of grammatical structures using complex and simple, sentences to express what you want to say. Know, your own errors, and then you need to practice with your friends. You need to practice, and that's the purpose of this class actually. Anybody can go and Google IELTS tips, okay, IELTS speaking tips, but you need to practice it for you to see. You need to like watch videos sometimes. You need to listen to people speak, and people need to listen to you speak. So if you are friends in this group, for instance, if you are close to yourselves and you've got contacts, maybe WhatsApp, you can do a WhatsApp video. If you create a small group of 10, 15, or 5, even 5 or 4 people, you can do a WhatsApp video like we are doing, and then invite others into that video and have a discussion. If you are going to be writing this exam, it's going to cost you. So you need to like try as much as possible to explore all the options that you have. Make use of all the technology as much as possible. Use it to your advantage. Use WhatsApp, use Telegrams. Almost everybody here, like everybody here is on Telegram, because you had to go through Telegram to be in this group. So if you are on Telegram, you can create smaller groups of 4, 5 of you, and then you get to like do a video call and you listen to one person speak and you listen to the other speak, and from within you will discover that you are able to make corrections, and then the next time you're doing it you will see that you have improved, okay, on your speaking skills. All right, so know that you are assessed on your ability to use different grammatical structures, yeah, accurately. So it's very, very important for you to practice speaking about, the past, the present, and the future using the correct tenses. I know, and I keep saying it, and it's a pity, it's such a shame that our major challenge in Nigeria or from Africa generally is spoken English and written English. Um, we are actually not supposed to be taking these exams before we migrate if the education system has not broken down. And yeah, so because of that we need to like put in more effort because our schools are not what they ought to be, and at the end of the day the educational system has degraded, things have dilapidated, and people don't trust our certificates anymore. So even despite being trained with English, speaking English from primary, your teacher spoke English in primary at some point, and then secondary to the university or to schools of nursing and midwifery, they still don't believe that you are able to communicate well in English, and that's the reason why you are going to write these exams. So you need to prove to them that you are able to do it. All right, so you need to improve on your spoken English, and this is one of the ways that you can improve by practicing. Okay, number 4 tip, please don't worry about your accent. Don't worry about your accent. Like trying to speak like Oyibo. Trying to speak like Oyibo, you don't have to. Maureen, what is happening to you? Samuel, your videos are off. Ujunwa, Neye, Miriam, I don't understand. What's happening to your videos? I don't know what you people do to them that they go to sleep. Please, just make sure that you are seeing me and I'm seeing you. Please. Yes. Um, I was talking about you ensuring that you don't speak too much grammar, okay? And you don't speak like maybe Chinese or whatever. You don't have to change your accent. Today I was on duty with I was on a night shift and I had to call in a doctor for a patient that was deteriorating. Despite not being my patient, I was nurse in charge of the shift, and I would give account, of all the other patients on the ward. So the nurse who was looking after that patient, one of us as a Nigerian nurse was on break and I had to take over. I took like the responsibility and everything. And as at the time that the doctor came up, he was a typical Yoruba man. A typical Yoruba. When I say typical Yoruba man, if you are Yoruba, you know what a typical Yoruba man is. He is a doctor. He is a senior doctor. Okay? I think if he came from Nigeria, he should be a consultant in Nigeria. He's quite elderly. He's not MO. That man is not MO. Even here in the UK, he's not MO. So it means that this man has studied, and for him to have come, if he even came from Nigeria, for him to be a senior doctor here, he must have spent like 4 or 5 years here, or if not more. And if he trained here, he must have been here through his medical school and all of that. But this man spoke English like the typical Yoruba man. He's taking care of his patients. He is an NHS employee. He's getting his salary. Nobody is penalizing him for not speaking through his nose. That's a typical example of what I want to tell you, of what I'm telling you. You don't have to like, okay, you will fail. That's the truth, because by the time you're not able to express yourself in that accent, you're not able to say what you're supposed to say freely, the examiner will be wondering, they'll be looking at you like, The lady that did my test is from Maiduguri, and she speaks as if she was born and brought up in the UK. I don't know if she was, but she doesn't look like that to me. I didn't change my accent. In fact, now I'm even speaking better than I spoke in my speaking test, and I passed. I think it was band 8 or so, my speaking. So what am I trying to explain to you? You don't need to change yourself in any way, please. You don't need to. You don't. It's not worth it. get your band and go. If you like, count your words, say it one after the other. So long as you're able to communicate in good time, you're fluent, you're coherent. That's what they are looking for. You have used the right words to express yourself. Please don't speak through your nose. Nobody will penalize you for not speaking through your nose or for not speaking like Americana. Don't go and do Awana Ghana. If you do Awana Ghana and you go and you say the wrong thing in your Awana Ghana, you fail. It's not my fault to have told you from here. So you know what to do now. You don't have to fail. You don't have to go there and go and fail because you know what is expected of you. Okay? So don't speak through your nose. Be yourself. Express yourself. With a face-to-face speaking test, the IELTS examiner understands a wide range of accent, so and will be able to understand whatever you say. Unlike maybe if you were talking to a machine, like the computers now, for example, it happens here. Sometimes you are talking with Google. Hello, Google. You want Google to do something and you don't want to type it, and you're speaking into Google. Google will be doing a different thing from what you're saying. It's not Google you are talking to in your IELTS speaking test. You're doing a face-to-face. So your examiner is not a computer. It's not an A1 computer, okay? And if you can communicate well, then there's nothing to worry about. But be aware of the sounds that you have difficulty in, all right? If you have any difficulty in pronouncing certain words, please learn them. Learn those words, the right pronunciation of the words, not to change your accent. Make sure you use stress and intonations, as English is a stress-timed language. You know that. Practice with friends and they will tell you if they can't understand you, they can't understand what you're saying. That's why I'm saying practice is very, very important. Okay, I know some of you have groups, so go and practice so that if you are pronouncing something in using Igbo tongue, you know it's a different thing from trying to speak like Americana. If you are speaking and you are using Yoruba tongue, it's a different thing. Okay, so you need to just be yourself. Say your words like they are. Just make sure you are pronouncing them the way they should be pronounced. One other tip, number 5, is for you to pause to think. Pause to think. There's no harm in taking a brief pause to think about what you want to say. We all do it to process questions. Okay, when you are asked a question, you need to think about it. But please be fast with your pausing and thinking. Let your brain just be on the average, okay, in such a way that you are able to quickly understand and then you are able to quickly think. So that period of the break between your understanding and your thinking of the response is the pause. All right, you are able to assimilate and then you are able to, okay, yeah, then you get the right thing to say. You assimilate it and then you comprehend, you understand what you have heard. I'm talking now and you're understanding me because in your brain there's a period of pause for you to process that information. Then it comes out in your cognition as an information. I don't know if I'm making any sense to anybody. Does it make sense to you? When you hear an information, it gets into the pathways and then it is processed and then it's presented again, all right, to you in an understandable manner, so that you don't go and you are just confused about so many things. You're confused about so many things. I've had instances where I was talking with somebody and the person was talking really, really fast. And the person has finished speaking for some seconds or even close to a minute before I was able to process all the information. Has it happened to anybody here before? That somebody was saying something and you like, oh, Ashe, that's what he's even saying. Oh, I didn't know. That's because maybe that period you're under duress, that period you're stressed, you're testy, especially test. There's one thing in this country, test as in to be testy for water or for a drink, it can send you off balance. It can send you off balance. As nurses, especially nurses, I know we have an extra bladder. We have an extra brain. We have extra so many things. You have an extra rectum that when the poo wants to come out from you, you are pressed, you want to go to toilet. There is a place in your brain that you can shut down to finish this process, this procedure that you're doing first. You shut that reflex, you know, your sphincters. You are able to control your anal sphincters in such a way that that poo will remain there until you finish what you are doing. And sometimes sef, except if you have a diarrhea, sometimes you will even finish the procedure and the thing has gone off, and then you wait again. That's why many of us are so prone to constipation, because in the course of keeping that thing there, you are drying the water. The water is, you know, draining off from it, and you end up with an impacted feces. Anyway, that's not pathophysiology I'm talking about now. So what I was explaining is the fact that if you are thirsty, your brain cells get constricted. They are not watered enough. They are not getting enough fluid, so you cannot process information enough. That is to say that as nurses, please learn to drink water. I have a nurse friend who has had kidney stones several times. She will have stones, they will give her medicine, they will dissolve it, they will do procedure to come out. Another one, she will still have it again because she doesn't drink water. She'll tell you, see, Mommy G, I don't like drinking water. Why won't you like drinking water? Please drink water so that you can process information. On the day of your exam, be very, very rehydrated, except if you are led to fast. If not, please eat breakfast. Please. If you are led to fast on the day of your exams, it's good, it's fine. If you are not, please eat eat breakfast. Make sure you are well rehydrated. You can carry your water in your water bottle, because it's a long period between the time you finish your identification, okay, to the time that that's your proof of ID and all of that, all the passport snapping and everything that they will do for you on that day. It's going to take time. I was thinking that they said I should come, my speaking is by 9, and I was there at about 8 something, thinking that I would start by 9. It was after 9 before we started the process of moving from one room to the other. And then more especially now that there is COVID, they are trying to like keep social distancing. So many things are like they are spacing them out. You need to drink so that your brain can think. If you don't drink in a speaking test, if you are dehydrated in a writing test, you won't be able to expand your horizons. Your brain will not be able to think. Your dendrites are not opened, and you may not be able to process information for you to put it down. This is just an advice from me to you, talking as per experience. All right. So yeah, you should, as much as possible, pause to think. Okay, like saying things like the examiner asked, especially in that dialogue, in the period of dialogue discussion between you and your examiner, she asked a question, oh, that's an interesting question. I have never thought about that. But like they ask you, do you think is important for people to keep in touch with old friends? You have finished talking about friends, so maybe from your previous part 2, they have talked about friends, and then maybe you have friends, they'll ask you, who's your friend, how did you meet, and all of that. Is it good to make friends? And in your part 3, they're not asking questions related to friendship, okay, related to your questions in part 2. And she's calling you into a dialogue, and she's saying, do you think it's important to keep touch with old friends? I mean, after all, you have all grown, everybody should move on. And you're like, oh wow, that's true, I've never really thought about that, but I think it is important. So you see, the period where you are saying all of that, you are thinking, then you say, I think it is important because you now explain yourself. So it's like you now coming to educate your examiner about your part 2. That's what you are doing in part 3. You coming to explain something about your part 2 to your examiner. Sometimes you can say, oh, okay, let me see. Okay, that's a good point, you know. That's a different question, but I'll try and answer it. Sometimes you can say words like, well, I think some people say that that's the case, but for me, I don't think so. And then you go ahead. You should be free to express yourself. That's why you must think, you must talk, you must practice. Practice speaking with friends so that you are free talking with them. That way, when you see the examiner, you really won't see the examiner speaking, but you will see like you were talking with Nurse Joy. You think like, oh, I'm in a class and everybody is smiling at me. All right. Okay. Avoid using filers. Words like you know, ah, eh, well, yeah. Please avoid using those words. Speak confidently and avoid using filer words. Generally we use filers when we don't know what to say. Like, actually, no, avoid using it. Go straight to your point. After you have had a pause, you have thought about your answers, please attack the question, go straight to it. Because it shows the examiner that you can't access the appropriate language or ideas, and so it's important for you to avoid them, to get the right phrases like we have used before. The right phrases like what? That's an interesting question. I've never thought about that. Instead of saying, it's true. Oh. No, that's not the word you should use. So use phrases like, all right, let me see. That's a difficult question, but I can try. But I'll try to answer it. Well, some people say that's the point, but I think, okay, let me think about it. Let me have a minute. And then in the next minute, you're already talking about that thing. So please avoid words like, actually, I was okay, okay, they ask a question, them not ask a question, say, hey, I didn't think of it. Oh, well, yeah. No, please avoid them. Avoid them. Okay, extend your answers. How do you extend your answer? Please try and answer the examiner's questions in full. Extend your answers and don't wait for the examiners to prompt you with another question. When your answers are short, it reduces your mark. It shows the examiner that you cannot talk in detail about a particular topic, all right? So if the examiner says why, they are prompting you to give more reasons. You need to expand your horizons. Expand your horizons and discuss your answers in full. Smile. Some of us. Agitation. Agitation. Don't be agitated in such a way that your face is this woman is going to fail me. Your examiner is not against you. I hope you know. Some people think that the examiners are against them and they are here to fail them. Your examiner is not there to fail you, my dear. Your examiner is there to just rate you. And so give them what to rate and go your way. Please put a smile on your face. I can confuse you with my smile. Hey, I can confuse anybody with my smile. I know I used to smile with over time, but of recent, or like in the last couple of months, I used to smile excessively. Even when you are annoying me, I'll just be like, you don't know what is in my mind, though. You that is talking like this, you don't even know what's in my mind. My teeth is out. You think I'm showing you my diastema? I'm showing you my open teeth. I'm not. Oh, I'm smiling because that smile helps me to cover a lot of things. So you too smile, and when the smile is fake, we know. Don't carry fake smile. Oh, let the smile enter inside your stomach. Let it come out from your intestine. From the bottomless pit of your intestine. Let it come out because it radiates. Let me tell you one thing that smiling does. Smiling opens your brain up to process information. We say that there are how many muscles on the face, nurses? If you don't know it, I won't tell you. There are how many muscles on our face? And those muscles, it takes about one fourth of those muscles for you to tighten your face. So when you tighten your face, you are exercising your muscles. You are stressing these muscles so much. But when you smile, life is easy. Oh, you are smiling. Life is easy. Even the examiners they'll fall in love with you. The examiner will be like, what's in their mind? What is she going to say? Why is she smiling? She all smiles. She's so composed. She's so relaxed. Here, you have to be smiling and you be composed at all times. I nursed a patient who had dementia, and all she does is, get away, leave me alone, you fucking piece of shit. And I'm going to her and I'm smiling, knowing that she's got some cognitive issues. And Some people I'm working with on duty, they're like, I don't want to go to that patient. She's cursing. She curses too much. She's swearing. She's doing this, and you go in there, you take care of the patient, and you come out and you are joyful. Yesterday, one of the patients asked me, said, Joy, I said, yeah, I said, is your name Joy? Were you given Joy by your parents or is your work name? I said, that's my name from birth. And she's like, looks like your mother saw the future and gave you Joy. Because when I come into my bay, as stressful as it is, sometimes you wake up in this country, you don't want to go to work. You think of the stress from the bus or from the driving to get to work, from handover to all of that, and you don't want to go. But I wake up, I go to work without stress. As soon as I enter the Princess Alexandra Hospital gate entrance like this, I'm switched off from everything that I'm coming with. And I walk into the base and, hello, good morning, my name is Joy, and I bring joy to people wherever I go. And they're like, who be this one? Even if you have had a bad night and I'm coming on a morning shift and you hear that kind of a phrase from somebody who is coming, my dear, you will be forced to relax. And as soon as I do that, because over time, sometimes you have a patient who has been there, 2-3 patients in the bay for like a week, for like 2 weeks. And I came into work 2 days ago after being off for 4 days. And as I was talking with one patient, my patient at the back said, I can hear Joy's voice. And I said, I was so excited. I was so happy. And I'm like, hey, she said, is that Joy? I said, yeah, that's Joy. She's come. And I said, Joy, today what? She said, no, it's not Christmas yet. I said, every day is Christmas. And the other patients were all smiling. Before then, there was a patient that I took over that she had refused all painkillers. She just wants to go for surgery. She feels that nobody is caring. She wants the surgery done. And she's hostile to everybody. The moment I started talking with the other patient, before I got to her, and before I say hello, she said, hello, Joy. And I said, oh, she already knows my name. She said, hello, Joy. And I gave her medication. She accepted everything. And when I was handing over in the morning that she had a peaceful night, they were looking at me like she had a peaceful night. How did she have a peaceful night? I said, well, my name is Joy and I bring joy to people. I handed over and I came home and slept. So what am I saying? Smiling helps you yourself. It keeps your blood pressure normal. It keeps you happy, and it helps you to compose your answers in a speaking test. The same thing it does in your listening test. If you don't smile to yourself, if you are not open to information, to ideas, if you are constricted and you, at the end of the day, you restrict your brain from being open, you are doing more harm to yourself than good. Because in your writing test, you have not come across this particular question before. Maybe in the course of your practice, yes, but this particular one, the way it is, this is in an exam situation. If you are not happy within you, if you are not open to ideas, see, let me tell you, what you do to yourself is you restrict your brain from opening up, and that way you cannot generate ideas. Remember that in your writing task too, you are writing in your own English. The same thing in your speaking test. You are speaking using your own words. So if you are sad, let me use that word, you can't process information and you're not helping yourself. Enough said about that. So please smile. Smile, because it helps you to calm your nerves, okay, and it in turn helps your pronunciation as well. Make sure that you enunciate clearly, you pronounce clearly, you explain clearly, opening your mouth wide enough so that the sounds can come out. When we smile, our mouth is bigger. Remember that when we smile, the tone of our voice also change. You know, if I'm smiling and I'm talking to you, even if I'm talking on the phone, there's a way you will feel it. You will know that I'm smiling, all right? It helps you to keep the environment friendly, and a friendly environment will help your answers to pop up. That way you score a better mark. Thank you for listening to my preaching. All right. Point number, what are we now? Who has been following us? Point number what? Number 9. Don't speak in a monotone. Like, yes, no, fine. That's not it. Not correct. Okay. Yeah. Please, don't speak in monotones. Sometimes when we speak, we produce like a flat sound, a monotone, with some little variations. Monosyllabic words will not give you the marks that you want. It makes it more difficult to express what you say, okay? And it makes it more difficult for the listener to identify what part of your message are important. Putting emphasis on certain words and pausing at sections in your speech can make your conversation with your examiner really more engaging. When we emphasize certain words, it makes it easier to compare and to contrast your ideas. Remember that you're coming here to present your ideas about these questions to your examiner. You are coming here to discuss your own opinion about these questions to your examiners. They're asking you, is it okay to have friends? And you are talking from your own experience, you're giving examples. It is about you. So you need to speak in a convincing manner. You need to say things that the examiner will think, oh, yeah, she's got a point. Your point does not have to be correct, but it's your expression, your ability to think up answers, all right? Don't speak in monotone. Vary the stress and intonations to add emphasis. Don't use monosyllabic words. Use your hands to gesture and to help, the reading of your conversation. Number 10 tip, my final tip, practice with some common IELTS topics. Practice with topics. For your part 2 of the IELTS speaking test, it requires you to speak on a given topic about 2 minutes. All right, so you practice common IELTS topics with your friends. Like I said, you should create smaller groups. I'm going to be asking you next time if you have created smaller groups. Identify people from here, chat them up, get their contacts, add them to your WhatsApp group, create 2, 3, 4, not more than 5 group for your small. You can put it as speaking practice group. You practice within yourselves. Practice speaking with your friends, family, colleagues to improve and to learn vocabulary associated with all of the topics that you'll be speaking about. Remember that in your speaking test, you're going to be talking about things like tourism, travel, education, transport, environment, family life, sports and recreation, entertainment generally, crime, punishment, the internet, okay, advertising and retail. Those are the common IELTS speaking practice questions that you are going to find. So having talked about your tips, we are going to discuss certain things that you will find and how you go about them. Certain questions, okay? So we said IELTS is divided into 3 parts. We have discussed certain tips. We have talked about the 3 parts of IELTS, the number of minutes it will last, and then what is expected, the kind of questions to expect. In part 1, kind of questions that you will find in part 1. All right. Questions in part 1, they are generally on general familiar topics about your life. Your answers are from your own life, from your experiences, and there's no right or wrong answer. After all, it's your experience. So if I ask you whether you work or school and I ask about your work colleague and you are trying to explain to me that your colleagues at work are very nice to you, meanwhile they are hostile and you are even thinking of how to leave the world, yeah? You're thinking of how to go and process so that they will change you from that word, but that is none of our business. At this time, what you are telling us is what we are going to be judging you based on. So our questions are going to be about you, about study, about work for part 1. Oh, I'm talking about part 1 now. About you, about study, work, your town, free time, what you do at your free time, holiday, places to go in your free time, transportation, shopping, okay, your neighborhood, reading, sports and games. Part 1 will be talking about that. Now, when you have questions about you, what are the kind of questions that will come up? I'm going to run now because I have to do some practice for a certain number of people. When you have questions about you, they're asking about your name. They can say, what's your name? Can I have your name, please? Could you tell me your full name? What can I call you or what shall I call you? How can I address you? Those are questions that you will find. Does your name have any special meaning? Okay, is your name important to you? Do Nigerians love to change their names, for instance? Have you ever changed your name? Why or why not? Why do people change their names? Do you work or study? They can ask you those questions about you. When they're asking you about your study, they're asking you, what are you studying? What's your major? Why do you choose that course, that subject? What do you find most interesting about your course of study? What is your favorite subject? All right, what do you dislike about your study? Okay, what do you hope to do after you have graduated from school? What are your ambitions for the future? What do you hope to gain like any qualifications, any more qualifications after this? What are the advantages of studying instead of working? Why did you choose to study before you work? Okay, why did you choose to further your education? If they're asking you about your work, you can hear questions like okay, can you describe your job to me? What do you do for a living? How long have you been doing it? Can you describe one of your typical working days? What's your daily routine at work like? Why did you choose to do that job? You are a nurse. Why did you choose to be a nurse? Okay, what things do you enjoy about your work and why? What do you think is the attraction of your work and why? What is your ideal job? Do you want to change your current job? Why or why not? Are you willing to keep your job permanently? Why or why not? What are your plans for the future? They ask you questions about your town, about your hometown. Can you describe your hometown? Tell me something about your people. Where are you from? They're asking about your hometown. Where do you come from? They're asking about your hometown. What's the name of the street on which you live? They're asking about where you live. What kind of street do you live on? All right. What do you like about your hometown? What is the weather like in your town? What kind of buildings are considered famous in your town? What jobs do people in your area do? All right. How has your town changed over the last 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, depending? What changes have taken place in your city in recent time? Do you think it's better to live in the city center or outside in the country, on the countryside? Why do you think so? When they ask you about your free time, maybe things you do at your free time, they ask you about your holiday, what you do when you have a holiday, what do you usually spend your who do you spend your holiday with? They ask you about places that you go to for your free time. They can ask you about I think part of the question can be, how did you come here today? How did you come to the IELTS test center? You can say you took a plane because you live in Kano and you came to Abuja to write. So you took a plane and then from the airport you took a taxi straight to the IELTS center. Nobody knows whether you came with Okada or whether you even trekked. It's none of their business. Nobody has the right answer. Nobody has the wrong answer. It is yours. It is your opinion. You handle it however you want. But in your handling it, please remember the boundary scriptures. Be fluent, all right? Be cohesive and make sure you are coherent using your cohesive devices. Please, as much as possible, speak good English. Shopping. What do you do at your free time? Where do you shop? Why do you prefer to go there? Your neighborhood. Can you describe the house you live in? What are your neighbors like? Like reading. Do you like reading? Sports and games and all of that. Those are the kind of questions that you are going to find in your part one. Okay? Now in your part two, they will ask you questions that are related to the somehow to part three. So remember that you are going to be linking your part two and your part three together. Your part two and three. So you need to know when they ask me this kind of question in part two, what can come out in part three. In part three, they can ask you questions on beautiful places, family, shopping, eating and food, traveling, cooking, school, adventure, newspapers, sports, friends. They are going to make their choice. And whatever question they ask you in part three is related to your part two. Yee! I met up with my targets. Yee, yee, yee. Okay. I plan to stop the talking when it is 4:10 and this is 4:08. 4:08. So yes, I finished talking. Any question? Yes, Beauty.
Okay, ma, like you are talking about some things we shouldn't say during the speaking. But what if maybe you ask a question that is interesting, like you say, like, wow, that's great. Is it acceptable
That you
or
have not said just wow. You have not just said wow. You have said that's great. I want you to get what I try to explain. Don't use all that. Yeah, mm, mm. There are English phrases for you to explain for you to express that. So use phrases instead of those words. Ah, you okay, in place of ah, you can say, wow, that's great. That's good news. Am I making sense?
Yes, ma.
Okay, they ask you a question that you really don't know anything about. Say, ah, instead of saying, ah, you say, okay, I've never really thought about that, but you are going on. That's a phrase you are using to express yourself instead of using those words that are red flagged.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
Next question. I have 1 more minute. Next question, please. No question. No questions means two things. It's either you understand or you are confused. Yes, please. Peace. I've unmuted you. Go ahead, unmute. Blessing Okoli, please put your video on. Thank you. Auntie Peace, I told you to unmute. I've asked you to unmute.
Can you hear me now?
Yep, I can hear you now.
Okay. In the speaking part 2, when I practice, I usually don't exceed 1 minute 30 seconds. Is that okay, or must I
Yes
get
and
to?
no.
Okay.
Yes and no. Yes, if I have heard you speak and you have given me all the points. And no, if you have not said everything, it means you're short of what to say. So you can access yourself by joining a group, by speaking to a group, so that they can access you. If you finished everything, you attacked every area of the question, and you gave relevant examples. Is that okay? Yeah?
Yes.
Any question? Chinwe, you are nodding your head. Do you have a question? Nobody has question. Okay, good thing. Thank you very much for this class today. If you have question in the middle of our explanation, please just drop it. Somebody said 42 modules. Did you go and browse it? Yes or no? Linda, unmute your mic. You're on the hot seat. Hello, Linda. Good morning. My name is Joy Agagwu.
Good morning, ma'am.
Can you tell me your name and your date of birth, please? Don't worry about the year. You can just tell me the day and the month.
Okay. My name is Izeko Sarete Linda. I was born January 8th.
January 8th, New Year, baby. They were still celebrating New Year when you were born. So you did not allow your mother to chop Christmas food in peace. Ah, I can imagine. All right, so you're welcome to the class. You had your speaking test in the next couple of minutes, and I'm going to be asking you a few questions. I need you to relax. Usually your examiner will ask you for your proof of identity, which should be your international passport. So please remember to go to the IELTS center with your international passport.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Linda, can you tell me about yourself?
Okay. My name is Linda Izeko Sarete. I'm Benin by tribe. I was born and brought up in Edo State. And I went through the nursery school, the primary school, and secondary. Later went for nursing, my basic nursing, then post-basic, BSc, public health nursing. I'm married. I got married 2011, February 19, traditional and a white wedding. And I'm married to a pastor. I have 2 kids. They are both girls. I'm presently working in the Federal Neuropsychiatric Hospital. I'm a mental health nurse. And for now, we're staying in a rented apartment. We stay in a 3-bedroom flat. I stay I stay in a rural environment, and I stay in a modern house. And
Okay.
well, before now, thank you.
Can you describe your job to me?
Okay. I'm a mental health nurse. I work in a mental health hospital. I work in an 18-bedded ward, and I have my ward manager, and I am an NO2, a nursing officer too. In my place of work is a place where we go to if we're in the morning, we have three shifts: the morning shift, the afternoon, and the night shift. Every shift has their own job description. When we are in the morning shift, we are meant to make the patient bed, give them their morning medication, and do psychotherapies if necessary, and take them to occupational units if
Okay.
there are patients assigned to that unit.
Okay. Do you want to change your current job? Why or why not?
Okay. Before now, I wanted to change my
And
current
do
job.
psychotherapies if necessary, and take them to occupational unit if their patient
Go
assigned to
ahead,
that.
please. Sorry.
Okay. Okay. Before now, I wanted to change my current job, and it was because as a result of the pressure from the job. But for now, I saw myself liking the job, most especially the unit I'm working now. It made me to understand that it's an interesting job. So in the near future to come, I would love to change my job out of
Okay.
this place.
That's a good one. Thank you very much, Linda. You are now going to be presented a piece of paper, a card, a cue card, where you have your questions on. All right.
Okay.
You have 1
Okay.
minute to go through the question. I'm giving you a pen and paper for you to document or write down anything you want to write down. Please take your time to understand this question, and then you can answer accordingly. Take 1 minute to prepare a talk on the following. Take note if you like, and remember to include reasons and examples. You should then speak for between 1 and 2 minutes. Is that okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So describe a beautiful place to visit in your country. In describing this beautiful place to visit, you should say where it is, how to get there, what there is to do when you are there, and explain why you recommend this beautiful place. Your time starts now, Linda.
Please come again, ma.
Describe a beautiful place in your country, a beautiful place to visit in your country. You should say where it is, how to get there, what there is to do when you are there, and explain to me why you recommend this place. You have 1 to 2 minutes to speak on this topic.
Okay. Can I start now?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. I'm going to talk about a place I visited in my country, Nigeria. And this place was located in Lagos. When a neighbor of mine took me there, okay, zoo, you go there and uh, I would love to recommend this place to people, to other persons to visit because there are some libraries close to the same place I visited where other journals or books are being kept. And most people that are going through research and some major assignments that they are finding difficult, I'll recommend that place for them to visit and see if they can find the books or the textbooks or journals they needed for their research topics or their assignments. And before now, there was a place I also visited in Kaduna, and that place was like a resort where other persons do go during holidays. That place, I will also recommend that place to other persons to go. It's like, because it's like a relaxation center when you are stressed during your week. You can go there during the weekend and just take a rest. And I believe that place would be a better place to go with your family, to be precise. But in the near future, I also think that I will appreciate I and my family going to that place in Lagos, because, like what I said before, there are a lot of animals, and we understand that children do like animals.
Okay.
And there's
All right, Linda. Why do you think people like to travel to different places in their free time?
okay. Uh, uh, well, that was an interesting question, ma. And I've never talked about that. But I think I think it's important for some persons to travel when they are free, just to ease their stress.
Okay.
They travel to ease their stress.
Okay. Have you finished talking?
But you said okay. I thought you've paused me. You've asked me to stop.
So if I say okay and I'm giving you a prompting, I remember that this is your part 3 already, and I did explain that it is a dialogue between me and you. Remember, we are
Oh,
talking. Now, why do you
okay.
think people like to travel to different places in their lifetime? You said, what was your reason? What was the reason you gave me?
I said, oh, that's an interesting question. But
Yeah, what's the reason you gave me?
I said they go there for relaxation,
Is that the
just to
only
ease their
reason?
stress.
Is that the only reason why people go to different places in their lifetime? You are going to be traveling to the UK in the nearest future. Why do you travel? Why will you be traveling to
No,
the
no,
UK?
no, 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 no.
Why do you
For
think
sightseeing, many people go
why
there.
do you think people like to travel to different places in their lifetime? Travel to different places. I didn't say beautiful places. I didn't say not beautiful places. I just said different places. You should know. Think about the
Okay.
questions. Remember, I said you need to process this question in your head
Yes,
first
ma'am.
of all. People go to different places for different reasons.
Yes, ma'am.
That should be your number one, your first line of address. People travel to different places for different reasons. Some people go to exciting places just for sightseeing. Some people go to places to do their shoppings. Some people travel probably maybe relocation from where they are currently. Some people travel maybe for tourism sake. Some go for researches. All right. A lot of people travel because maybe they are attending occasions. Like you travel for weddings, you're going to a different place from where you are. You're traveling for a burial, you're going to a different place from where you are. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so how do you see tourism changing in your country in the near future?
But that's an interesting question. I've never thought about that question. But there's nothing I can say about that question. I have
Okay,
no answer.
perfect. Um, Let me just use this opportunity to explain this to the class. I did mention that we need to think, didn't I? First of all, you have broken like almost all the rules that I just finished explaining to start with. I told you to smile. It will help you. It will help you to relax. The moment I asked you question, the first thing you did was you were looking confused to start with. If you go back, go and watch your video, go back to YouTube and start from when we started. You were confused initially, and then it showed on your face. Somebody asked a question on YouTube. He said, but how will the examiner see that you are smiling when you are putting on a face mask? I have a face mask at home. Um, I'll do a practical for you to see. You need to see a practical. So you will see whether the examiner, you know, you're smiling or you're not smiling. Number one. Number two, Linda, you must say something. Okay? You must say something. I have a face mask at home. This is a face mask. Watching on YouTube, thank you. I've seen your question. Joy Emenike, I've seen your question. Now I'm not wearing glasses. I'm wearing a face mask. Am I smiling?
No,
You are not smiling. Oh.
you're
Am
smiling now.
So how
You are
did you
smiling
know?
now. The muscles, the facial muscles.
The muscle, it came up.
Joy, have they answered your
And
question?
from your voice.
Thank you. I said that even when they are not seeing you, they can feel you. They can feel you. But your own, I'm seeing you, your facial muscles are like this, and your face is shining with all the... So you see that this thing is more of practical than just talking. It's good to, you can't read speaking and go and pass, except God. Well, some people are experts, so I can't conclude. The truth is you need to practice these things. Now I asked you a question and you sounded confused. Number two, you refuse to face the camera. Remember that they are recording you. That's what they are going to use it. I told you from the beginning that they are recording this thing for quality purpose, for research purposes, and for you to have like a remark, for many people that will ask for a remark, and for them to use it for training of other people as well. All right. So you need to smile, you need to face the camera. Please don't really stand like you are confused. Don't stand like you are confused. At the end of the day, you end up destabilizing yourself. I don't know if you have experienced it. When I am angry, my brain shuts down in terms of thoughts. I've worked myself to be able to calm down. Mommy, be calming down. So I have been calming down. When I'm angry, I'll just start on my own. I'll just start taking deep breath. If not, you take actions that, or you say things that you later regret. It's the same thing with when you are stressed. It's the same thing with when you are tight-faced. Okay, you do what? You restrict your brain from thinking. Linda, tell me, I asked you a question. How you see tourism in your country, in your own country. Remember that I told you there's no right or wrong answer. Didn't I say it? I said there's no right or wrong answer. So if you decide and say, well, in the nearest future, for instance, Nigeria, which is my country, is going to be a tourist center because the government is working so hard, building so many places like upgrading the zoos. You know, we have the Obudu Range where people want to come. We have the, what is that, that festival they used to do in Calabar again? The Takpa whatever. What do they call it again? What do we call it again? That festival in Calabar. Can somebody remind me, please? Is it has to do with something pa or tila, whatever?
Chiwe is talking. Oh, Chiwe is talking. Chiwe, she's answering you.
Chinwe, please unmute your mic. Where is
Calabar
Chinwe?
Carnival.
That Calabar Carnival. There's a Calabar Carnival that they do. It's a place for tourism, okay? It's a tourist center. During that period, during that carnival that they do it, people come from all over the world. Many people, even Calabar people, come back home to come and do what? Sightseeing, to come and buy things. People do like exhibitions in those periods. So if you decide to say that in your country, in the nearest future, you see your country as like becoming the tourist center of the world as a whole, this is because the government is making efforts to create more tourist centers, and it's going to boost our economy. You know, for instance, we have the Obudu Range where the animals are. We have with the zoos in Jos, we have zoos in Lagos, we have the museums where people, you will start just talking about this, how it's going to boost the economy. You see your country growing. That's one side. On the other side, you can decide to say, well, I don't really see a future for tourism in my country because people don't have access to the internet, and whatever they want to see, they can watch them on YouTube. People can travel all over the world with their phones and their computers, see exciting places if they want to, like, having a member of the family or a friend go to a place and then do a video of such places and show them. So I think that many people in the nearest future may not be interested in traveling long distances, and then maybe. Secondly, many of the tourist centers are becoming dilapidated because they are not giving attention to them. There's so much of this. You just explain, so you can decide to choose which side. The problem you had is that you did not process the question that I asked you, and the next thing is you're telling me you don't have an idea. How do you see tourism changing in your country in the nearest future? Tourism is going to change for the better. It's going to change for the worse. If it's changing for the better, that's because somebody is making an effort to make it good. Somebody is doing, like, creating awareness for people to visit tourist places. Okay. If it's changing for the worse, it's because somebody is neglecting his or her duty. The tourist centers, the animals are dying. There's no replacement of them. All right. There's so much deforestation. The forest areas are being cut. The trees are cut down, and the animals are being killed. And most of these animals are going into extinction. So people will not even want to visit tourist centers like a zoo. Okay, like places like museums and all of that. Some of the old arts, people now see them that they are old-fashioned. Nobody is interested in cultures and all of that anymore. So I really don't see a future for tourism in my country. I've not seen this question before. I didn't think about it. I'm not going to write IELTS. I'm seeing it like you are seeing it, because I open the resources that I have few minutes before I teach, and then there are some of them that I know I must go through. But for questions like this that I asked in the class, I've not gone through them. So it's not like I've premeditated on them. You need to open your brain, Linda. All right? Next person. Linda, if I'm going to score you, I will score you 2.5 over 5, and you know what that means. You need to improve on thinking. You need to improve on generating ideas. You need to improve. I like that your English, you're quite fluent with your English. So I'm not going to talk about that because it's an advantageous area for you. All right? Olajumoke Dayo, it's your turn.
Good afternoon, ma.
Good afternoon, Jumoke. My name is Joy Agagwu, and you are on this hot seat in this class this afternoon for your IELTS practice in speaking. Okay? We've talked about so many things. Can I know your full name, please?
My name is Dayadelusi Olajumoke Comfort.
Okay. Have you ever changed your name? Why or why not?
Yes, I've changed my name recently. I changed my name recently due to marriage. I got married last year, July. So I was required to change my name to my husband's name at my place of work because I needed to upgrade some of my documents at my office.
Okay. So how have you been finding it? You've changed your name. How do you feel about changing your name? I mean, it's a name you've had all your life from your childhood and up until now. Somebody just comes up and in a twinkle of an eye, they're asking you to change your name. So how does it make you feel?
It's quite I'm not finding it quite it's quite strange because there are times that whenever they address me with my new name, I forget that they are talking to me. Then sometimes it feels weird because I'm already used to answering my father's name. So I'm not really finding it easy, but I know with time I will adjust.
Okay, that's good. Why do so many people change their names? Do you know why people change names?
Okay. People change name for different reasons. Some they change name because of marriage, while some change because of they need to change their identity. Maybe they don't want to be found. Then I think some people should change maybe due to divorce, they need to change from their husband's name back to their father's name. So I think there are various
Winifred,
reasons why they
sorry to cut you
do
short.
that.
Winifred Dampson, please put your video on. Adesua Omosuzi, I've taken you out before. That's because you didn't have your video on. If you don't have your video on, I'll take you out of the class. And if you come in again without your video on, I'll cut you off from the class. We have a rule. If you went through our registration process, you will know that for you to be in this class, you need to have your video on, or you join us on YouTube. Thank you very much. Go ahead, darling.
So people change for different reasons. Like I said, might be due to marriage. Maybe they get married and they need to answer their husband's name. They go to court and they change it. Then some due to maybe they need to change their identity. Maybe for instance, for some criminals, maybe after coming out of jail, they don't want to be found. So they just change their name to something entirely different. Then some due to divorce, they change from their husband's name back to their father's name. So there are various reasons why people change their name.
Okay, that's good. Thank you very much. We will move over to the part 2 of your speaking test now. All right. And I'll be asking you a few questions. And in the course of that, you will have a cue card. Let me assume that I've given you a cue card. And on that card, you've got your topic and the areas I want you to speak on. Okay. Take 1 minute to prepare a talk on that topic. And you can take notes if you like with this pen and paper. Include examples, please, and reasons if you do have them. Is that okay?
Okay, ma.
All right. Okay, Jumoke, describe the person in your family who you most admire. The person in your family who you most admire. In describing this person, you should say what their relationship is to you. You've got so much noise coming from your background. What their relationship is to you, what they have done, what they have done in their life, what they do now, and explain why you admire them so much. Describe a person you admire in your family so much. The person in your family that you do admire the most. You should say what their relationship is to you. Who is this person to you? What they have done in their life, what they do now, and explain to us why you admire them so much. You have 1 to 2 minutes to talk on this topic. Go ahead. The time starts now.
Okay. Thank you, ma. I would like to talk about my. Sorry. I would like to talk about my mother. Please relax. I would like to talk about my mother. She's a pleasant woman. She's a pleasant woman, and I really admire her so much because she has done a lot for me and my sisters. She's a very great woman. She's a great woman. When we were growing up, she used to do a lot just for us to be fine. She will run different shifts, take different shifts, so that she could just meet up and pay her fees. I really desire her courage. I really appreciate her courage, her efforts towards bringing us up. She really trained us, though our dad was mostly not around. So she was always with us. She was mostly around for us to take care of us, then provide our needs. She's now retired and she's mostly at home. When we were growing up, she was running. She was doing some businesses too. She would travel to Lagos and Ibadan to get some goods, bring them back to Ekiti State to come and sell, so that she could get enough money to train us. Then now she's retired, so she's mostly at home resting. She said she's tired of doing businesses, that she needs to rest for now. Then when I got married to, she had to when I got married after a few months, I gave birth. So I got a job too after giving birth. So she had to come to my place to stay to take care of my son because we're not allowed to take we're not allowed to bring child to the work premises. So she will be at home. She will feed the child and take good care of the child before I come back. She was so nice, and she was always there for me. So I really admire her. She really tried for us and our family too. So I really admire her courage, and
All right.
I would
That's so good. I'd like to meet your mother someday.
thank you, ma.
Yeah, so now you are done your part two. I'm going to be asking you a few questions. All right. Feel free to express yourself. All right. And if in the course
Okay.
of the discussion you don't understand anything, you can ask and then I will have to explain again. Is that all right?
All right, ma.
Okay. Can you tell me in what ways have families in your country changed in recent years? In what ways have you seen that families have changed?
Okay. I think every family is unique, but I think with the ones I see around me, I think they've changed in various ways. Like nowadays, the way they train children is different from the way children were trained when I was growing up. Nowadays, you see most of these children when you pass them by, they don't even say any greeting. They don't even say a word of greeting to you. They are so disrespectful compared to when we're growing up. When you see an elderly person pass by, you like bend down or kneel down and greet them. Then I think that most families these days, most of their parents these days, they are busy doing jobs, doing work. They're trying to make ends meet. That they forget the family and what they're supposed to do for their children. So I think the families these days, the way they have really changed compared to the way they were before.
Okay, that's fine. So, do you think that because of these changes, you said that like families are abandoning their roles and all of that, should husbands and wives have different roles within the family? Why should they have different roles? And if not, why?
Okay, I think husband and wife should have different roles and support each other in the family. Like maybe when you want to when they want to when these kids want to go to school in the morning, for instance, when the wife is busy cooking in the kitchen, the husband too might assist taking care of the child and preparing the child for the school. I think everything should not be abandoned on the wife. I think they should try and share the duties equally. Then both the man and the wife should also work so that they can equally fend for the family. I don't think the roles should be strict. The roles of bringing in money or providing finances should only be on the man. I think they should share equal. They should share their responsibilities equally. Then they should also train the child equally too. They should be able to be there for their children too.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very, very much, Olajumoke. You have come to the end of your
Thanks.
speaking test.
Thank you, ma.
That's all right.
Yeah.
So, how did you feel, Jumoke?
I felt nervous. I don't know what.
But I'm not an examiner. Because I could feel that you were nervous from your voice,
Yes.
but you were
Yes.
able to compose yourself to express yourself. That's the way the exam situation should be. That's the way it should be. Being nervous, being anxious is allowed. I used to tell you people, it's okay to be anxious about your exams because you've not seen this examiner before. And then for some of us, it's actually our first time. So, coming to, and, with the stories that we have heard about IELTS, of how people fail IELTS and all, you are just anxious, you're nervous about the whole process. So, coming to meet this man, this woman, who will be looking at you maybe with one kind of wicked professor glasses, you'll be thinking, hey, they are going to fail me. No, they are there for you. They are just there to access. Some of them are actually very lovely if you meet them outside the exam hall, okay? So you are allowed to be a bit nervous, but don't let it overwhelm you. There should be a limit, okay? There should be a limit. And then your anxiety should reduce as you go on in the exam. I discovered that you were in control. From the beginning, you were in control, okay? And then as the time was going, as we were asking more questions, despite like not having unexpected questions, you were still able to answer the questions, even though not so elaborate, but you were able to say things. All right. So if I am an IELTS examiner, I'm going to give you a band 7. I'll pass you and then you will go. That's the truth. With this speaking, yeah. The corrections I want to make is number 1. I told you need to practice. Quite. That was quite an attempt. Quite an attempt. Do you hear me say quite? I didn't say quiet. You were saying quiet. If you tell me that in the exam, I'm going to mark you wrong for that use of word. Quite. Same vowels arranged in different places. Same alphabets arranged in different places. In quite, the one you mean to say, that's quite an interesting question. The I, okay, comes after the T. It's a Q-U-I-T-E. Quite an interesting question. Quiet is Q-U-I-E-T. Q-U-I-E-T. So if you don't practice, you won't know. Number 2, you may even know the difference. You may even know the spellings, but your pronunciation has placed you in a disadvantaged position for this particular word. So you need to identify what words you have problems with and work on them for the sake of your exams. Okay? So I've seen your speaking. I like to see you practice writing. I like to see you send in or say your scores in reading as you practice. Remember, we are still using Cambridge 15, test 1 to 4. I like to see how your improvement is with your reading and then with your writing, and then you go ahead and do the listening on YouTube. If you type in whatever test you're doing on Cambridge, type it in on YouTube, and then you will find the test, the listening for it. Type it in, say Cambridge 15 test 2 listening test. You will find it there. Okay, so when you have done it, you go to the end of it, mark it, and see where you've got issues, and then you can correct those places. If you still do have problems, go back to the YouTube videos on listening, for instance, and then get the tips for listening, go over another test, and keep doing this. By the time you have done this 4, 5, 6 times, you find out that you have improved over the days, and you are ready to write your exam. So I'll say, yeah, that's an awesome attempt, and thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you, ma.
Okay, so Olajumoke has done her own, and yes, one other thing I noted here was the use of words. Also, where you had you were able to use vocabularies well for me. I heard words like strange, and then when you were talking about it again, you said you felt weird. It's good. Please get related words to what you are asked. Other than that, you are fine with your speaking. All right. Okay. So next person on my list, I see if she's still here. Okay, he's gone. One of them is gone. Oh, he has a family. Oh, that's fine. That's okay. We'll do it another time. I've got few more minutes to go. So who is the lucky one among these two people? Is Cynthia still here? Cynthia, are you still in this class? Cynthia is gone. Good. Maureen, your lucky chance. Okay, you can unmute now. Maureen Chinenye. I have 2 Maureen in this class, Abby. I have 2 Maureen. I have several Chinenye in this class. We'll start doing naming group now. We'll name the group, your speaking group, we'll name it after you. Okay, so Maureen Chinenye, good evening.
Good afternoon, ma.
You are welcome to
Good evening,
our
ma.
class. You got a chance to do your practice in speaking because you came early to the class today, and I must say, well done, well done. All right, my name is Joy
Thank you.
Agagwu, and I am the IELTS tutorials anchor for overseas nurses. Um, can you tell me your name, please?
My name is Ezemorin Chineye.
Okay. Is your name important to you?
Yes, my name is important to me.
Why?
I'll say I'll say that this name is like a guide to me. Like Chineye means God gives, and it attracts so many blessings on my way.
Okay.
And I feel that I love the name. And even if I come to the next word, I would like to bear that name if there is next word.
Wow, that's a good one. So have you ever changed your name?
No, ma.
Okay, why? Because you don't have any reason to change your name. All right, that should be your reason. Okay? You don't have any reason to change your name yet. Probably when you do, you may like to change your name. All right? Okay, so can you hear me, Maureen? We prayed against village people. Abi, did we not pray against village people? Eh? Village people that will not give us good network. My dear, it's not village people's fault. It's MTN and Glo. It's not fair. Now she's disappeared from the class. Hello, Maureen, can you hear me? We bind the spirit of bad network. Maybe that's what we'll do. Then we will pray and pray for bad network. Something we can easily change. Just get a better SIM, get better network. Go to places where you have better network, and that's it. Maureen, village people don't want you to do this test, though.
Don't mind them.
Okay, so Maureen, do you work or school at the moment?
I work.
Can you tell me about your typical working day at work? Your typical working day at work. One of your
Okay.
typical days, yeah.
Okay. As a nurse, my typical working day in orthopedic hospital, as we come for duty, first we'll pray if it is a morning duty, then we'll do handover. After handover, we carry out, we serve patient we serve patient bedpan because majority of our patients cannot help themselves. So we do that for them. And after serving of bedpan, we serve medication. After giving of medication, then we can go around the patient to interact with them and know if there is any other thing or anything that the patient wishes to discuss with you. Before you go, we'll go over to dressing their wound. We'll do their wound dressing to make the patient comfortable and then do their bed making. Because if you do the bed making before doing wound dressing, you can end up soiling the bed that you have already made. So we do our wound dressing first before making the bed.
It's gone again. Maureen, can you hear me? On a lighter note, as nurses in Nigeria, in Africa, do we really serve bedpan? Or we let in government hospitals, or we let patient relatives do that? Because we are going to give bedpan in the UK. So if you are in a hospital where you've not been given bedpan, start getting used to it. It is the nurse's duty to give bedpan here. You wash your patients if they need to. And you may be very lucky, like some of us who have our ways around wards, that there are some things that the healthcare assistants can do, and you can pleasantly talk with them to help you do them, to assist you to do them. But it is your duty as a nurse. So as you're planning to come to the UK, plan your way around manners, Okay? Multidisciplinary relationship. We fight with our colleagues back home, not nurses. The multidisciplinary team as a whole. We fight with doctors, physiotherapists. Here in this country, the nurse is in the center of the healthcare. When physio is not doing their job, it is your work as a nurse to find out what's happening. Patient relatives will call you and it is the nurse. Hello, can I speak to the nurse looking after my mom, please? It's not the doctor looking after my mom, please. They call the ward. Hello, can I speak to the nurse in charge, please? It is not the doctor in charge, please. It is the nurse. You are going to end up giving them updates about what the doctors have said, what the physios have done, what the nutritionist said, and what you are doing as your action. So please, on the lighter note. Maureen, are you back? Maureen is gone. She will complete it next time. We have 6 minutes, so we'll just use it to talk. Please. As much
I'm
as
back.
possible. Oh, welcome back. Oh. We'll postpone our
Thank you,
talk.
ma.
All right, so Maureen, I'm
Okay.
going to move straight to your second part. That's your part 2. I'm giving you a question. There's a cue card, and on this cue card, you are given a question prompt where you will be speaking on. Is that okay? You have
Okay.
take 1 minute to prepare and talk on this subject that I'm giving you. You can take notes if you want, noting down your reasons and examples as well. And then you should speak between 1 and 2 minutes and we will be fine. All right? Okay, your question goes thus. Describe your favorite shop. Shop, as in S-H-O-P. I'm from Kogi State, so I have problems with CH and SH. And since I've discovered that, anytime I'm pronouncing those words, I stress it so you know which is which. Please, if you are the same with me, work on your pronunciation. Okay, Maureen, can you hear me? Describe your favorite shop. Maureen has gone again. Maureen, can you hear me, please? Describe your favorite shop. She's not here. Okay, so please practice. Form a group for your practices if you can. Send them private messages, contact them in this class. You can have a family in this class, or if you don't want it, from other classes that you attend or from other sources. Just make sure that you're practicing. Maureen, you are back. Describe your favorite shop.
Yes, ma.
In describing your favorite shop,
Okay.
you should tell me where it is. Where is the shop located? What things it sells? What sort of people are its customers? And explain why you like to shop so much. Explain why you like the shop, why you like the shop so much. Explain why. All right? I said describe your favorite shop.
Okay.
In describing it, tell me where the shop is, tell me what the shop sells, and tell me what sort of customers the shop has, and then why you like it so much. All right? Your time starts now.
Okay. My favorite shop is I like to shop is an open market. And the open market is located in Onitsha main market. And I like the shop because it has varieties of things over there.
Wow, the network is so bad for her and keeps fluctuating on and off. We can't even hear her, but she's doing very well. I hope she'll be in the next class so she can complete it. I'll remember. Let me just note it down in my reminders. So Maureen Chinenye, she's to start from part 2. We have heard her part 1 and I've rated her based on that. Hello, Maureen. No, she's not back. All right. So generally, create from what we have done today. We've talked about speaking so far. We've described what speaking is all about, how your speaking is rated, how you are going to get scored, and what kind of score you are supposed to have in your speaking. It should not be less than 7.0, all right, if you want to come to the UK, just like the other ones, except for writing where you're permitted to have 6.5. But there's nothing wrong in having a band 9. Okay, if from this class I have people writing their exams and they are coming up with band 9 in their speaking test, I will be so happy. I'll be so elated. I'll be excited and I'll broadcast it. You see me posting it on my Facebook, you see me posting it on YouTube, telling the whole world that we are not just playing here. Actually, we are making sense and it's helping people. Remember, the class is free of charge. So if anybody comes behind and tells you that, please, not Joy is being, please, so I'm not collecting money from anywhere. Oh. Mr. Tunde is not paying me. Nobody is paying me, and I'll keep saying it. But I'm getting paid because when I see your faces, it's like these days I'm beginning to look forward to the class. I look forward to the class despite being tired sometimes from work, and sometimes I feel like, "God, let me just send the message and cancel it." And I'm like, what if somebody has really prepared and really made this class? Those are the things that keep me going. I do believe that by the time you are able to pass and you are able to relocate to make your life better, if you're writing your life story, you say somebody contributed, that way you too can contribute to somebody's life because you were offered free help. Where we come from is a place where nothing goes for nothing. But actually, we can change the order that something can go for nothing. All right, we can actually change the order, making things go for nothing, where people don't have to pay for every service that we can render when we are not being paid for it. All right. So yeah, the class is still free. And remember to have your video on when you join us. Our YouTube viewers, it's exciting. I'm seeing so many questions from YouTube. I will see if I can have some time to go on them one after the other. I've sent the link so you can join the Zoom classes. Please register, subscribe. If you have not subscribed, then please do me a favor, go and click the subscribe button and then click on the bell icon so that you get notification once we are online. That way you won't miss out on any class, or if I decide to do any video and post it, you will not miss out on them. Remember, we are still using Cambridge 15 or 14 for our practices. Do them, mark yourself, improve on your practices, do the writing test. Some of you are so funny that is when there is time, it's almost time for the class that you start sending me your writing task questions. I have backload of writing tasks that I've not gone through, and I'm planning to go through them. And some are sending in their own today. I hope you are not expecting me to vet it and answer you today. Teaching you is not a problem, but vetting the work that you do, that's where the real sacrifice is. And I'm trying to take my time so I don't get tired in vetting your work. And at the end, I say, I'm not vetting again. Then what's the need? Don't just come and teach people and you're not getting feedback. We need to make corrections, you need to improve. And that's the reason why I'm taking my time and doing all of that, expecting that God will help you so that you can cross over. All right. Please, as much as possible, help yourself. Help yourself, practice. Go into smaller groups for your speaking practices. Go into smaller groups to remind yourself of what you were supposed to have done. Within yourself, you can get tasks, you can get questions from online, you can get questions from books, from IELTS books, and then try to solve them. At the end of the day, the most important thing is that you improve and you write your English test and you pass your exams and your relocation processes begin. Remember that we do also help people with relocation and it's still free of charge. Nobody is charging anybody for anything. So if you know anyone that has passed IELTS and CBT, they can contact us, we can put them through. Hello, Mr. Man, how are you doing? All right. So thank you very much for attending the class today. Do we have any question, please? I don't have much time today, oh, beauty. Don't start, oh.
Well, there's so much question. I missed the last class. So I watched it on YouTube and sent you my write-up. Please don't be angry. I missed the last class, so
It's
I had
fine.
to
I'll
watch
go
it
through it.
and Okay,
I'll go
thank
through the
you.
write-up. That's fine.
Thank you.
Any other question, please? Do we have any question in the house? Maureen, you are in this period we are doing speaking. So what we'll do is we'll come in and we'll get to pick numbers and then we'll assess. Say something small and then we assess ourselves at the end of the day. So next week, next class on Saturday, I'm on a long day at work. So there's not going to be a class on Saturday. I am going to reschedule the class. What are you saying, Chinweoku? See, you see, your facial expressions are speaking more English than your mouth is speaking Oyibo. Eh? Yes, no, we will reschedule. We will not miss the class totally. We will reschedule that particular class and have it. So I'll check on my list. My shift on Monday will determine. We may have that class on Sunday evening. I would have had it with you on Friday, but I need to confirm my availability for something on Friday. I'm not so sure. If I am sure, wait, by the time I check my rota when I get to work, settle down, call one or two persons, and I'm available on that Friday, I'll send a message tomorrow. So if somebody can do me a favor by sending to the group on Telegram, asking for the class on Saturday, so that if I've not done that, I can do it and then send a notification resetting the time either for Friday or for Sunday. But I know it's one of those days, all right? It's one of those days. And remember that if peradventure you're at work, you don't get a chance to attend this class, you can always go back to YouTube and watch it. Our YouTube viewers, thank you for watching. Thank you for following. I do hope that you're gaining something, that you're not wasting 2 hours and your data as well. Please go ahead, do your practices, send in your work if you can, and join other groups so you can help yourself. I don't have any group. I don't have a speaking group. I was suggesting that you can join a speaking group within yourself. You can create one. But because some people are asking me to add them to a speaking group, I've done so many groups that I'm even tired of groups. I'm trying to see how I can come out from so many groups. So please contact yourselves privately. Speak to yourselves privately. Create groups within yourself. I just want you to improve. That's just all. In the absence of any other thing, I am still Joy Agagwu, and I anchored a free IELTS tutorials for overseas nurses. We are here to guide you all the way from your IELTS to your relocation. And remember, it is free of charge. God bless you. Have a great day and good morning, because some of us are going to work now. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.
Thank
Thank